Me where it hurts, and the voice sounds as strong and as good as ever, doesn't it?
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
What do you do? I mean, do you take anything for it?
No, nothing.
No?
You know, I've just done some very fine things. You know, I've come back from Cyprus, and I did a TV in Latvia, and to the Baltic states. You know, and we had amazing viewing figures over there, 80 million people. And
80 million people is amazing.
80 million is quite astounding, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never had that before, so it's the very first time for me.
But you
Except once before. Sorry,
Yeah.
and when I did the Olympics in Korea, that's when we had big viewing figures. But this time, you know, after so long, since '88 that was, and now it's 2010, and it's nice to have nice big viewing figures like that, you know.
But I mean, your voice is your work. It's your life, isn't it? You know, and if
It's
that
my
goes,
life,
I mean, I complain every once in a while about a sore throat because you know, it's similar. In my case, I turn to my wife Julie and I say, "Have you got anything for my throat?" And she offers me a knife.
Oh.
It's not nice, is it? How's the family, Eng?
Everybody's doing fine. Thank you so much for asking.
Good to hear, because Scott, your son's still managing it?
No, actually,
Is he not?
But what he does, my manager is Elliot Wiseman, who used to manage Frank Sinatra, and but Scott is now booking me in places like overseas bookings, you know, and so I'm going to Australia in September to do a tour, and he's responsible for that, you know, for the whole tour. I was just there a few weeks ago, and to do some promotion, and we were sitting in a restaurant with the promoter, and after we finished our meal, we got up and I was walking out, and there was a table there. I was well ahead of this table. I was out, but Scott was behind me, and the lady there, that's Engelbert Humperdinck, isn't it? So the husband said, "Yeah, it is, yeah." Oh, he's had a lot of work done. just as Scott was passing the table, you see, as he was passing the table.
Yeah.
So Scott and the husband looked up and said, "You heard that, didn't you?" So Scott said, "Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I tell you what, I'll bet you anything you like. You can go and check behind his ears right now." And they didn't, but
No.
it was nice. It was a
Well, it's a compliment, isn't it? It may be a
Really?
backhanded compliment,
Yeah,
but
backhanded,
it's nevertheless a compliment.
nice. Yeah, good jeans, I think. Yeah.
We've been talking on the programme this morning about holidaying at home or abroad, and I guess you never had a normal holiday since you can remember. have
No, I can't remember. No. The first holiday I ever had, of course, was in the Isle of Man, because I went there for the song contest, and which I won and started my life.
Yeah.
But it was nice. I enjoyed it. You know, I'd never been on holiday before, so that was an experience.
Do you ever hanker to go places like Skeggy? No?
Of course I do.
Do you?
I think it's nice. I think it's nice. I mean, I've been there. I've even cycled to Skegness.
You cycled to Skegness,
Yes,
have you
yes,
really?
I have, yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I got as far as Grantham and then turned back. I was tated, I tell you.
It's skeggy.
Yeah.
We used to love it. I mean, as a kid, I loved it, you know. I mean, it's a place to go, a seaside, you know.
Well, I mean, holidays for you as a child were special then, were they?
Oh, yeah. Yes, they really were. Yeah. And I mean, now I don't have much of a holiday, but I do travel a lot, and I do get to see various different parts of the world, you know, fortunate and to be able to do that, you know, and get paid at the same time, which is nice.
But you must spend, you know, quite a significant portion of your year abroad, elsewhere, wherever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, really.
But do you hanker for home? Do you hanker for that?
I do, yes.
Yeah?
I love coming home. I really do. I mean that most sincerely. And I've been back now, and I've been doing a little bit of gardening. Would you believe that?
Pat has allowed you to do some gardening.
Yeah, I do
Has
some
she
gardening.
really?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Trimming the hedges and one thing and another. But I love it. You know, it gives me something to do. It's a freedom of the garden and the air, nice fresh air, and, you know, doing something and making myself worthwhile.
You yourself, of course, come from a reasonably large family, do you not?
Yes.
And you yourself now have a reasonly large family with children, grandchildren, and so on and so forth.
It's amazing.
Do you ever all get together as a family unit?
I'm thinking I'm trying to persuade all my 4 children, you know, to come over for Christmas and New Year's and spend it here with us, you know, my wife and I, and that's something I'd like to do this year. And because we have a good Christmas over here. Well, I always spend Christmas at home.
I know you do, yeah.
And it's nice. And the environment is right. The pub's open. And
You've got a pub in his own grounds, for goodness sake. But no, you don't just drink there, do you? I mean, you go down the road to Glen and all sorts.
I do go out. I do go out. And the people in the villages are wonderful. They're just great. They have they don't treat me, like I'm a regular human being over there. Yeah. They just say, "Hi, how are you? Nice to see you," and everything. And I reciprocate, and it's wonderful.
My producers just whispered in my ear that great people come from Great Glen.
Oh, I say.
Guess where she comes from?
I'm sure.
No prizes for guessing them. Look at her next door. I don't know. I'm going to bring in your best pal, actually, David Spradbury, because he's been sitting here very quietly, just observing things, taking things in, as he always does. You two have been pals for donkey's years, haven't you?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
You've even got a mention in his book, haven't you?
Oh, that's right. I recall that now, Tony. It's on page 191.
Will you ever forget that?
No.
That's what I would like to know. How did the pair of you meet? Because I know you both share a passion for golf, don't you?
Yes, that's right. And I think that's really where it all started.
Yeah.
And having played golf, we then went back to Engelbert's house that evening and celebrated his 50th birthday, and with his family in the pool dome as it was then.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we played golf 25 years ago. Is it 20?
It's 24.
24 years,
please.
sorry about that. But of course we'd played a few years before that. So yeah, it's sort of well over 25 years that we've known each other, really,
right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And great guy. I mean, I know he's here, and I don't want to be patronising, but people do ask me all the time about it, and I said, look, I don't need to spend my time with people that I dislike or that are not nice people, and he's just a great guy. A bit like yourself, Tony.
Yeah, right. That's another fiver I owe you. Steve White, can I just bring him into the conversation here?
Sure.
Because he's a name that will be familiar to a number of people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that for me? I'm not in, Eng. If it's Julie, I'm out. Okay. Right, okay. Steve White, chairman of Leicester Sports Alliance, a well-known name and associated with the Special Olympics, of course, held here for the second time, was it not? Correct me if I'm wrong,
Correct.
David Spradbury,
yes.
only last year. And, well, do you want to take up the story? Because there's a nice touching bit to this. There's a picture that you brought in with you of Engelbert, duly signed to a very special young lady.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Steve White contacted me and said, David, because of your contacts, do you think that you could talk to Engelbert and see if he can support the Special Olympics? And I said, yes, of course I can. And he jumped at the chance and became an ambassador for the Special Olympics. And in going to the town hall to start the clock off and the countdown to Special Olympics, and opening the mural on Charles Street, etc. We met Steve White many really and we also were introduced by Steve to Donna, who is a really
special young lady.
Really special young lady, yes, she is. And she's apparently, according to Steve, hell-bent on raising funds for a charity.
Right.
And Steve asked me if I could get Engelbert to sign a photograph made out to Donna, which he's kindly done, and there it is. And hopefully that's going to be passed on to them sometime later this morning.
It will indeed, actually, at lunchtime when Bill Buckley takes over at 12 noon, and he'll be chatting himself to Steve White during his programme after 12. So right. I'll make sure that is passed on. Super. So don't be concerned about that. Thank you very much indeed, pair of you, for that. Because you do quite a bit for charity in a quiet way, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it, I know, but I'm going to talk about it. Air ambulance, stuff like that, that's something that's close to your heart?
Yes. And I've just been asked to do a sub for the Prince's Trust, so I'm doing that now.
That's a great cause, isn't it? The Prince's Trust. He's done so much good for so many young people across the country for so long.
I've done a concert for it before.
Yeah.
You know, but I've started up again.
I mentioned in the introduction very briefly, though I skipped over it quite quickly, that you performed in front of royalty, and that includes Queen Elizabeth II, our present Queen. Yeah.
No, it was the Queen Mum.
Queen Mum, was it?
Yes.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So you still got that one to do?
I still got that one to do, yeah.
That's another notch you'll have when you get there in the end. Is it something that... I mean, is it intimidating performing in front of, that degree of royalty?
It is a little bit, because, you look up there in the box and you see them and it's just... the respect is there, so therefore you start swallowing quite a lot, nerves. But it's also a great privilege and pleasure.
Well, I know a lot of people would like to see you have a personal date with the Queen. And we all know where we're going to on that one, don't we? 25 minutes past 11. I can't let you go without talking about the tour. You mentioned that you just got back from Cyprus.
Yeah.
You're off soon to Belgium at the end of this week.
Yes.
Then we're talking America, we're talking Canada. You're all over the place,
yes, and
aren't
then on to Australia.
Yeah, Australia. But next year, as the year goes on, you'll be coming to the UK, and I've got a whole list of dates before me, and it kicks off, as I understand it, here at the Concert Hall in Glasgow on the 22nd of April. And then we go through Edinburgh, then you've got a day off, Newcastle, Glasgow again. Then you're off. It just says UK Europe here. I don't know what that means.
That's probably Amsterdam or something like that.
Somewhere over the road, yeah. Blackpool, Manchester, Amsterdam again, St George's Hall, Bradford, couple of days off, Southend, day off, and then this is the one that we're really interested in, the 6th of May 2011. It sounds a long way away, but it isn't, is it?
It isn't.
It'll be on us before we realise it. Du Montfort Hall, Leicester. That's going to be really special because you'll be playing at home, as it were.
Yeah.
And it won't be too long after a very special birthday.
My God, the time flies, isn't it? Thank God.
Do you want to mention your 75th or not?
You bugger.
All right, we'll skirt over that, though. I'm sure it's not an issue with you really at all, is it?
No, not really. And you can't stop the clock. And as life has treated me now, I hope it stays that way. And I'll keep entertaining.